Thank you, Roberto, for trusting me. Coming in here, I just learned that I was called the most difficult regulator in Europe, which I take as a great compliment, because I think that it's also the fact that BEREC has had a very unusual role in this process, and I thank very much both members of the Parliament and the Commission for allowing us that, because we are, compared to the Commission, we've been very positive about the state of the European market. We've always challenged the numbers of the Commission and said that it's not as bad as you say. There is another thing, we also seen that on the other side of this opportunity, there's a great opportunity for Europe. It's a great opportunity in the service industry. It's a great opportunity for us to make sure that we have new companies to do new things, rather than only looking at companies that works on a very mature market, which in a sense is actually the operators market. One thing that we're very happy about from the regulatory standpoint is all the trust in this process that has been invested in BEREC as an institution. We've been very satisfied and very happy, and actually a little bit humbled about all the things that you want us as a regulator to do on a European scale, but also on a national scale. You give us a lot of responsibilities, and regulators are usually the ones who don't want to regulate at all. So it's been a very interesting process for us as well. Since the original proposal, it's improved a lot. We were very early on saying that there were room for improvements in the first draft of the proposals, and we can see that the coming out of the amendments and the proposals is now discussed both in consumer issues, the other ones is much closer to the BEREC position, which we are very happy for. But there are also differences, and one of them is net neutrality. And I would like to give our view on net neutrality. And as some speakers have spoken out, this is something we've been talking about for a very long time. And we have a kind of a double view on this one, because we have to live with the consequences. We are the ones who actually have to work with any regulation that comes out, which makes us fairly technical in our assumptions of what's happening. Just to give you a little bit step back, in 2012 we made an investigation about what we thought was the problem in Europe when it comes to net neutrality, and funny enough we didn't find any. We have never seen that there's been a large extent of actually using or blocking of net neutrality type of products in Europe on an aggregated scale. We did a study about it, and it turns out there was a lot of contractual arrangements, but not in real life, because it seems like one of the most in task works, nearly competition. What we said 2012, we made a decision that we think that the open internet is extremely important. We think that the legal ways to make sure that we have net neutrality is, first of all, competition, and then the ability for customers to switch. Those two things combined, we thought that the market power should be very incremental of actually making sure that no one, as we actually said, would be stupid enough to start blocking their customers' traffic. Then a lot of things has happened over that time, and there's a lot of discussions going on after this. And we now see the proposals coming out. And we do agree on the fact that the open internet has to be careful. So we do agree, and we see that there is a need for legislation of some type today. But coming back to our regulatory role of implementing it in 28 member states, which are very different, and I agree. Roberto always has to make this claim when he talks about the countries who are successful in broadband, that there is some golden recipe for that, like we have a high GDP. Could be true, but the fact is there are countries that has a lot of investments in infrastructure, and none of them has actually had a regulation when it comes to net neutrality. We urge you and ask you very humbly to, when you do your decision, your wise decision about net neutrality, keep it rather light and keep it very high up. Because we have to work with the fact that we have to implement it afterwards. And the more detailed and going down in very specific could be a hindrance for us to actually implement it in a way that it actually works. We have been quoted very much over the last couple of months when it comes to what we said about net neutrality, but this is actually our standpoint. So I will go on the previous speaker, keep it very simple and very light, because we think that we get all those basic rights, when the competition, the ability to switch to consumer power, and also having a regulation that makes it possible for us to implement without actually hindering the new types of services and products that comes out, not only for the operators, but also on the whole service industry that is now created on the back end of IP and internet, which we think is very important. I worked with internet in 2002. since 1992 when I bought my first internet access. I'm that old, I'm sorry. I'm so old I forget the dates. And we have never been able to say that this is the golden point in time where we now seen the end of internet, that this is now the best business models work for eternity. We believe in the open internet. We believe there has to be some sort of regulation around it to make sure that the service industry can be built. But we ask you very humbly from the regulators, keep it in such a way it's actually possible for us to regulate afterwards. So keep it slightly higher up and not too much details. Thank you very much.